If you've ever played a tabletop RPG, it probably looks something like this. A whole table of players with dice trays and notebooks and a game master behind a screen spinning their story. Most people play with tables of 4 or 5 or more or even more than that. But can you play TTRPGs with just 2 people? Well, let's see what that looks like. Let's take them away and this person, and with a little bit of rearranging, you're left with just 2 people. And this might look weird to you, all this empty space. But one-on-one game scenarios happen all the time, in games like rock, paper, scissors, or chess, or pool, so why not tabletop RPGs? Even Dungeons & Dragons, a famously table-filling game, leans into 2-player setups when the story calls for it. But what if I told you there's a whole subset of tabletop RPGs that highlight and are specifically written for the special dynamic that's found in a table for 2? Today we're talking about duet RPGs, why we play them, how to play them, and what games I believe do this best. Welcome to the Wintry Wyvern, let's dive in. By the way, this video is sponsored by Chepeku, fantastic mapmakers of the tabletop community, but more about them later. A duet RPG is best understood as a 2-player role-playing game, involving just yourself and one other person. It's just like a private conversation, a back and forth between 2 minds inventing and exchanging new information, reacting to it and building on top of it as they go. Duet games are usually designed specifically for 2 people and no more than that. As such, both people play a major role in not just defining the world, but existing in that world as 2 halves of a whole. Sometimes these roles you play are complementary, a team or a partnered unit, like 2 scouts on the same hunt, or 2 wanderers in a vast new world. But just as often, you are each other's competition, fated foils bumping heads towards the same finish line, like opposite team athletes or pirates on opposing ships. Duet games have their obvious perks. For one, they're really easy to organize. The woes of scheduling a whole laundry list of players is all but gone, with you and your friend only having to coordinate with each other. You can just pick a time and place and meet up somewhere both of you are comfortable, a spot you're willing to spend a few hours hanging out. Secondly, your personal playtime is dramatically increased. In large groups, you might get lost in the chaos of a whole table's opinions, or stuck waiting for your turn in a drawn-out combat, or left out of a scene not tied to your character. In duet TTRPGs, you're involved 100% of the time. You're either speaking to your fellow player, or reacting to their words and their actions towards you. Both people have to be deeply present for the story to progress, and it becomes this evolving push and pull that is really never interrupted. Thirdly, and most importantly, duet RPGs are often deeply personalized. When you choose a game together, you can cater so directly to your shared interests, which might exist in a niche harder to sell to a whole group of people. 2-player games are specifically designed to bring out a dynamic that's very rarely found outside a private conversation. There's a candidness that comes from undivided attention between you and your friend. Duet games require an earnest investment in both your own character and theirs. Again, you act as your fellow player's foil. You push their growth or obstruct their path. You react to their words and choose to heed them or ignore them. You decide if you are wind to their sails or rain to their fire. A successful duet game relies on trust in each other's storytelling and an excitement towards what surprises you hold for each other. In a sense, it's just as much quality time as any other hangout might be. So after all that, you might ask, where can I start? Well, I have a couple of recommendations here, just so you can get a feel for the breadth of stories that already exist that you and your friends can tell. In no particular order. Eyes on the Prize by Ira Prince is about 2 con artists working together to sneak into high society through the guise of a fake marriage. You invent a false union, dupe the unsuspecting nobility, and do your best not to fall for each other on a mission that's strictly business. Godkiller by Connie Chang is a dramatic fate binder between a powerful divine being and the one person destined to slay them. This game wields the power imbalance like a knife, pitting 2 forces of nature against each other, and possibly challenging destiny in their potential collaboration. I Have the High Ground by Jess Levine is about 2 people meeting for one last duel, and the buildup of tension leading to that final moment. In this game, you begin at the end and recount the trials, triumphs, and regrets that might have led to this star-crossed conclusion. On a lighter note, Badger and Coyote by Pantheon Games is a lighthearted tag team of 2 animals that rely on each other for food and survival. Their unique strengths and weaknesses are purposefully uneven, leading these critters to forge an unlikely partnership. Right now, my personal favorite duet TTRPG is Tangled Blessings by Cassie Mothwin. It's about 2 rival students in a magical academic setting, and you play through 4 years of a twisted, cursed curriculum. The back cover says 2 to 4 hours, but my friend and I spent closer to 20 hours, playing through a handful of story prompts that made our characters more tragic, nuanced and deeply intertwined. This game in particular made me realize that while I do love the dynamics of a full table's energy and teamwork, duet RPGs really maximize the time you get to spend immersed in the setting and the story, where every moment is one you can allow yourself to be deeply invested and involved in and sway with your own influence. So give it a shot. Links to all the games I mentioned are listed below, and if you're looking for something else, I'd recommend the Party of One podcast by Jeff Stormer. It highlights a different two-player TTRPG every episode. Finally, I'm so happy to share our sponsor for today, Cheipeku Scenes. Cheipeku are famous for their beautiful battle maps that have illuminated thousands of tabletops over the years. But every now and then, as a game master, I'd love to bring my players to a new setting without scaring them with the ominous grid lines of a top-down point of view. It was then I was introduced to Cheipeku Scenes, a collection of amazing art pieces depicting these same battle maps from the eyes of the adventurer, with sprawling fields and cityscapes stretching into the horizon. As with all of their work, these landscapes fuel your table's sense of adventure, and if your party does decide to get a bit frisky, every scene matches up with a battle map from their original collection, which is massive. $1 on their Patreon gives you both the day and nighttime variants of every art piece they release, and the $5 tier brings that same art to life with animation, as well as provides many more variations to that same landscape, perfect for fitting whatever your story requires in the moment. I've been using Cheipeku's battle maps for years and I'm honored to promote them in this video. I'll leave their work on the screen just for you to look at, while you hopefully check out more duet TTRPGs, check out Cheipeku's work, and everything I've mentioned in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching and stay frosty.